Maya boarded the overnight flight with a guitar case and a heart that felt too full for her hands. She moved like someone used to carrying more than she owned. Her clothes were simple, her resolve was not. She had left her last job 2 months ago. She had a debt she could not sing away. The cabin smelled of coffee and recycled air. Lights dimmed. A child in the row ahead began to cry. Not a soft whimper, a raw, high wail that grabbed at the nerves of the plane. Heads turned, phones came up, a woman hushed. A man clicked his tongue. The crying kept cutting through the hum of the engines. Maya listened. She had sung lullabies in small hospital rooms for little hands and loud nights. She knew the shape of a cry. She knew when a child needed a tune more than a pacifier. She held her breath, then let out a soft hum. Her voice did not try to impress. It did not aim for applause. It was small and steady and honest. The cry wavered. People leaned back in their seats. The hum became a line, and the line became a song. The toddler's sobs slowed. The mother glanced over, relieved. The man next to her wiped his eyes, quick and private. The air settled like someone finally closed a heavy door. A few passengers smiled. A couple whispered blessings, phones lowered. A woman near the window reached for a tissue, not for herself but for the father in the suit who sat 2 rows back. He watched with a face that had practiced grief. Maya sang like she was threading a stitch in a torn blanket. The song was simple. It did its small, good work. The child drifted toward sleep. Around them, strangers let out the breath they had been holding. The cabin felt smaller and kinder. No one expected the reaction that came next. The father's hand trembled as he reached for his seatbelt. He had a nameplate on his carry-on. Ethan, it read in a small embossed font. His eyes shone, and a tear slipped down his cheek. It moved like someone waking from a long sleep. He did not make a scene. He did not stand. He only watched as if the song had mapped a place he had lost. Another tear found the corner of his eye. A woman near them nudged her husband and pointed. Phones slid out again. A video was already starting. For Maya, the song was a habit stitched from a life of small stages. For Ethan, it was a thread back to a life he thought folded away. Neither of them knew that one small tune would remake the hours to come. The plane hummed, and outside the night moved on. Inside, something quiet had been set into motion. Later, when lights rose, they would both remember that small, quiet night as the moment everything began to change for them both. The plane had settled into its steady hum, the kind that makes thoughts louder than they should be. Maya leaned back, eyes half closed, unaware that her voice had left an echo behind. She wasn't used to being watched. She sang for peace, not attention. But the moment had already spread down the aisles like warmth through cold metal. Ethan kept staring at the child's sleeping face. His son Noah looked almost angelic now. Soft curls over flushed cheeks, small hands resting against the blanket. For the first time in months, he wasn't crying. Ethan's throat tightened. He didn't even know why he had cried himself. Maybe it was the song, or the voice that sounded almost like his late wife's humming when she used to rock Noah at night. He wanted to say thank you, but words felt heavy. The world had stopped expecting him to feel anything at all. Since his wife's accident, every gesture of kindness scraped against guilt. He'd buried himself in business meetings, foundations, and silence. And now, in a crowded plane, one stranger's lullaby had undone all of that. Across the aisle, an older woman whispered, "That was beautiful, dear." Maya smiled faintly. "Sometimes music listens better than people," she said. The woman nodded, touched. Someone clapped softly. The stewardess passed, whispering that it was the sweetest thing she'd seen on a flight. Maya blushed, brushing it off. A teenager 2 rows away uploaded the clip. Within minutes, it was on social media with the caption, "A stranger sang a baby to sleep on our flight. Everyone went quiet." The internet had found its next gentle storm. But Maya didn't know that yet. She was just tired, leaning her head against the window, humming quietly to herself. Ethan sat still, fingers clenched. He looked toward her now, really seeing her. She wasn't glamorous. Her hair tied back messily, eyes tired but soft. The kind of tired that comes from holding too much care for too long. He wondered who she was. What kind of person sings for someone else's crying child with no expectation? His chest felt strange, like a door was trying to open after being sealed shut for too long. Noah stirred, whispering in his sleep, "Mommy?" Ethan froze. The word burned through him. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath. Maya heard the sound, looked over, and for a second their eyes met. She didn't know his story, but she recognized grief when she saw it. She gave him a quiet nod, a silent understanding that needed no words. He tried to speak. "Thank you," he finally managed, voice low, "for helping him." Maya smiled softly. "It's all right. Songs find who they're meant to." The seatbelt sign blinked on. The moment folded itself neatly into the hum of engines. Yet something lingered between them, fragile, unfinished. He wanted to ask her name. She wanted to tell him it was okay to feel again. But neither did. Above the clouds, their lives continued to orbit in silence. Two strangers connected by one small borrowed melody neither would ever forget. 2 days after landing, Ethan sat in his office staring at the screen, the city skyline blurring behind glass. He was supposed to be reviewing contracts. Instead, a headline pulled him in. Woman's lullaby calms crying toddler on flight. Passengers moved to tears. He clicked it. The thumbnail froze on her face. The same woman from seat 14C, eyes half closed, lips curved in that gentle, unaware smile. Maya. The video had millions of views already. Comments overflowed with words like angelic, pure, and humanity restored. Ethan leaned back, heart pounding. The internet was calling her an angel, but to him she'd been something simpler. Someone who reached through grief without even knowing it. For the first time in a year, he wanted to find someone not for business, but for gratitude. Maybe for closure, too. He called his assistant. "Can you track down the woman in this video?" The assistant looked puzzled. "Sir, that's a trending clip. Do you know her name?" Ethan shook his head. "Not yet, but I need to find her." Hours turned into days through small online breadcrumbs. A guitar visible in another clip, a familiar voice from a local cafe's open mic night. They found her. A small stage in Brooklyn, Thursday evenings. No agent, no team, no glamour. Just Maya, singing to a room that half listened while clinking glasses and scrolling phones. That night, Ethan arrived quietly. He sat in the back corner, cap pulled low. The cafe lights were warm, golden, tired. She stepped up with her guitar, smiling nervously. "I wrote this one for anyone who's ever had to start again," she said. Her voice drifted over the crowd, soft but steady. The same lullaby blended into her melody. Different words, same soul. Ethan's chest tightened. He wasn't sure if it was grief or awe. Maybe both. The crowd slowly fell silent. Even the bartender stopped wiping glasses. For those few minutes, the cafe felt like that airplane again, still sacred, suspended between noise and peace. When she finished, there was no applause at first. Just a collective exhale, then clapping rose, soft, then full. Maya bowed, surprised at the warmth. She looked around, eyes catching on the man in the corner. Recognition flickered, slow and uncertain. After the show, she was packing up when a quiet voice spoke behind her. "You probably don't remember me," she turned. It was him. Clean-cut suit, tired eyes, but softer now. "You were on that flight," she said, almost whispering. He nodded. "My son. He slept for the first time in months because of you." She smiled, modest. "He just needed a song." "No," Ethan said gently. "I did too." For a moment, the world shrank to the space between them. Her guitar, his trembling hand, and the invisible thread of that night. He took a breath. "I run a foundation for children who've lost parents. I'd like to produce your music. Lullabies for them. The world needs what you gave that night." Maya froze, stunned. "You're serious?" He smiled, eyes wet. "Completely." And right there, surrounded by empty coffee cups and fading chatter, two broken hearts began to rebuild something neither had expected to find again. Hope. Months passed. What began as a single lullaby turned into a small studio filled with life again. Maya recorded simple songs, not polished, not commercial, but real. Each track carried a heartbeat, each lyric a whisper to a child somewhere who needed comfort. Ethan sat through every session, headphones on, silent, steady. He never rushed her. He just listened, the way she had once listened to his grief without knowing. The first album released quietly under the name Songs for the Small and Brave. No press campaign, no flashy rollout. But kindness travels faster than ads. Parents began sharing clips online, children falling asleep to her voice, hospital rooms softening with her melody. Within weeks, the songs reached millions. One evening, Maya was scrolling through the comments when she froze on one. "My daughter hasn't slept peacefully since her dad passed. Your song made her dream again. Thank you." Tears blurred her screen. She didn't reply, just smiled and whispered, "You're welcome to no one and everyone at once." Ethan stood at the studio door watching her. "You changed more lives than you know," he said. She looked up. "We both did." He nodded. Maybe grief was just love looking for somewhere new to go. The line hung in the air like a promise. Weeks later, they hosted a small concert. No tickets, no grand stage. Just families, candles, and stories. Maya sang while Ethan moved through the crowd, shaking hands, holding babies, hearing laughter where there used to be silence. When the last note faded, she looked toward the back of the hall. A little boy was asleep on his father's shoulder, the same way Liam once had. Ethan blinked hard but didn't look away. Maya stepped down, walked to him, and gently rested her guitar beside the child. "Full circle," she whispered. He smiled. "Yeah, full circle." Outside, snow began to fall. The quiet kind that doesn't announce itself, just settles and stays. Ethan slipped a hand into his coat pocket, where a small photo of Liam rested. He looked up at the lights, then at Maya, then at the doorway full of strangers who no longer felt like strangers. The world hadn't given him his son back, but it had given him something almost as rare, peace. And through Maya's voice, that peace kept moving, from one heart to another, endlessly, gently like a lullaby that never really ends.